This is long range. You have what? Closer range. We have punching range. We have thrusting range. We have fall range. We have elbow range. We have knee range. And now we have grappling ranges. So there are many. So now what you want to do is, this is human nature. Human nature is, what's our predominant weapon? Worldwide weapons. What do we use? Pistol, knife, bayonet, sword, what? Missiles? Huh? You see, first we have intercontinental missile range from continent to continent. That is human nature. I would rather fight you from 20 billion miles away by pushing a button than to close with you. You see what I mean? We have artillery range, missile range, artillery range. Then we have what? Small arms range. And it keeps going down until we have what? Then you have rifle range. Then you've got machine gun range, or whatever the heck, submachine gun range. Then we got pistol range. And then finally we go down to empty hand. But when we do it, we don't want to close with our opponent, so we now have kicking range, and we have all these different ranges till we finally get to grappling range. Actual combat encompasses every one of those ranges, except for the, now when you go into rifle, that's now different art and all that. Pistol, that's a whole different thing. But now when we're talking about, we have to know every one of these ranges, all right? So now vital areas. Vital areas are taught, nerve centers and all this. These are nice to know. In other words, when you come up here, he has two orbs called the eyeballs. Okay, we've got the throat. We've got all these different targets. They're very nice to know. But now we're talking about combat range in combat application. We're in Anchorage, Alaska. It's the middle of winter. The man has a t-shirt, he has a wool shirt, he has a sweater, and he has another shirt over the sweater, and he now has an overcoat. And he's wearing a muffler. And he happens to be a dog musher, so he's wearing goggles. And he's got a coat that comes down to here. And I am now going to use my deadly pressure point on him. You see what we're talking about? Those are nice to know, but in certain circumstances, that stuff no longer applies. I wear mittens, I'm in gloves and all this, I can no longer use this. Now, when I talk combat, I spent 24 years in the Marine Corps, so I always visualize myself being in a foxhole, like in Platoon movie and all that, and guys jumping into the foxhole and all this, right? So I'm going to do my spinning back somersault kick in a one-man foxhole. You see what I mean? Or I'm in the swamps of Vietnam, and I'm up here waiting, and I'm going to do my double jump kick out of the mud and water. This is, in other words, under the worst conditions is how you practice karate or how you practice combat. You think of the worst possible conditions. Your house is flooding out here at Shreveport, and you're the only one with a boat, and a couple of ruffians are going to take your boat. You see, that's how you figure that it's going to be. The worst conditions is when it brings out the best of some people, but it also brings out the worst of some people. That's combat conditions. Under the worst conditions, what are you going to do? You're waiting, you're trying to pull your family on that boat, and two ruffians trying to take it. Now that's how you're going to have to learn to fight. Forget about the rules, regulations, and all this. There are targets. Now there are targets and there are vital areas, vital points. Vital points are the eyes, the throat, all these nerve centers and all that, Just to give you an example, we're just fine, okay? If we find the arm right up here, you just follow right down here, you'll see this muscle protrude, you just take your finger and you push down in toward here, right? We can find a nerve area right here, right? But now it's middle of dark, and somebody just mugs you in the alley. You see what we're talking about? Can you find that area? The odds are no, you're not going to find it. So these are nice. This is what we call dojo, and you're authorized to learn all these different techniques. But I'm not going to be worried about that. So these are vital points. Targets are what? This is a target.